Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Norwegian ebook before it's gone. Today's topic is how to speak more of your target language, specificity, and can-do checklists. How much of your target language can you speak right now? If your answer is not much, there is a way to speak more, even if you're learning on your own. In this episode, you'll discover 1. How specific goals can get you speaking more, and 2. How you can apply this learning tactic with our learning program or any other resource. But first, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Going Sightseeing Conversation Cheat Sheet. What country or city would you like to visit? With this PDF cheat sheet, you'll be able to talk about where you want to go, and you'll master all the common words and phrases for sightseeing. Second, the Most Common Nouns PDF ebook. You'll master over 90 common nouns with this bonus PDF picture ebook. You can download and review on any device. Third, can you talk about hairstyles? Would you be able to get a haircut in your target language? If not, then this 1-minute lesson is just what you need. Fourth, phrases to use with your doctor. I have an appointment. I don't feel well. My throat hurts. You'll learn how to say these phrases and much more. Fifth, can you talk about books in your target language? Learn how to say novel, author, thriller, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to speak more of your target language, specificity, and can-do checklists. Every learner wants to speak more in their target language, and yet speaking is almost always the weakest skill for most learners. So, how do you fix this? How do you speak more? Keep watching. These tips will apply to solo learners and those with a conversation partner. First, let's put language learning aside. Let's say you wanted to speak more about a certain topic in your native language. What would that depend on? The length of that conversation depends on how much you know about that topic, right? If you don't know much, that conversation won't last long. If you know a lot, you could go on for hours. It's the same with language learning. The more words and phrases you know around a certain topic, the more you can speak. It's a top-down approach. Pick a topic, for example, weather, and work your way down. Learn the relevant words, phrases, and questions for that topic. For example, what's the weather like? It's nice weather. It's sunny. It's windy. I like sunny weather. I don't like rain. The more lines you come up with, the more you'll be able to talk about the weather in your target language. The point is, if you want to speak more, you should start with a specific topic. Sounds obvious, right? So why don't most learners do this? Most learners don't do this because they're just passively following a learning resource without going after what they specifically want. It's much easier to follow a textbook than to stop, think about what you want to talk about, and go off in that direction. Of course, you should keep using your textbook or other existing resource. You can do both. Follow a resource and pursue specific topics. But here are a few reasons why this tactic is so powerful. First, specific goals always beat vague goals. For example, between setting goals like, I want to save money, and I want to save $50, you're more likely to succeed with the $50 goal. But because you have a specific number to look for and measure, you won't stop until that $0 becomes $10, then $20, and then $50. Same with language learning. Between, I want to learn more words, and I want to learn 20 words, you'll do much better with the specific goal. Second, you get to speak more sooner. You can go try the general approach of learning the 2,000 most common words, but that will take a long time and it won't get you speaking any faster. But if you pick a specific topic and get all the words and phrases for it, you'll be much better off. 3. So you know what to focus on. Again, knowing what to focus on helps you learn and progress faster. Otherwise, if you're just going through a textbook with no specific goal in mind, you'll spend months on learning a language and never see any real progress. So remember, the more specific you are with what you want, the more likely you'll get it, because you'll know exactly what you're looking for. This is why we tell you to set small, measurable, meaning specific, monthly goals. Now, what kind of topics should you pick? That depends on you and your hobbies and interests. You can also start with common topics, like talking about yourself, your family, the weather, or your weekend plans. But to make it easy for you, here's what you can do. 1. Download our free PDF conversation task list. Pick a topic to start with, for example, talking about your family. Then, take lessons inside our learning program based on that topic. You'll learn practical conversations that you can use in real life. And as a result, you'll be able to talk more about your family. 2. Take 5 or 10 minutes and write out other lines that you'd want to use, either in that conversation or questions that someone may ask you, and get them translated with the help of our Premium Plus teacher. 3. Come up with your own topics that are interesting to you. Then repeat step 2. Come up with all the phrases, questions, and answers that could come up in that conversation. Write them out and get them translated with your Premium Plus teacher. Or translate them with a translation software. You could try this, and it might not be perfect, but it could help you start and get you speaking a little bit more of your target language. The goal here is to be able to talk more about a specific topic, and as a result, speak more of your target language. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about what's your real reason for learning a language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! If you're learning a new language, there will be times when you'll struggle with the lesson, when you won't fully understand what you've learned, when you'll be in a rut, or when you just won't feel like you're making any progress. And that's totally normal. In this video, you'll learn what to do if you're not learning, and how to overcome language learning struggles. Let's begin. Number 1. Understand the mindset of a successful learner. Some learners are more successful than others. A key difference between successful learners and less successful learners is in the way they approach problems. Some learners rely completely on a learning program. If there's a grammar rule or word they don't understand, they get frustrated and blame the program. They don't look for solutions. Successful learners approach problems a little differently. If they encounter a problem, they look for a solution or ask for help instead of getting frustrated. You may feel frustrated at times, especially if you're a beginner, but how you choose to react will make all the difference. Number 2, set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. Most learners fail because they set big, vague goals, like, I want to be fluent. When they realize they have no idea how to do that, they lose motivation and quit. The solution to this? Set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. For example, finish 10 audio lessons by the end of this week. Learn 20 words by the end of this week. Speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of this month. Listen to lessons for just 5 minutes a day, every day this month. Now your goals are small and realistic enough to accomplish. They're specific and measurable, so you know when you reach them, and the deadline gives you a finish line. For example, either you learned all 20 words by Friday or you didn't. When you reach your goal, you gain a ton of confidence. This improves your chances of reaching your next goal because you've had experience reaching a goal and you understand the things you need to do to be successful. Number 3, read along with the lesson notes and lesson transcripts. Now, what if you're doing a lesson but you can't catch a word? Take advantage of the lesson notes and lesson transcripts and read along with the lesson. The lesson notes give you in-depth grammar and vocabulary explanations that are not available in the lesson. And the lesson notes give you the word-for-word transcript of everything said in the lesson. So if you want to pick up every word, read the transcript. Number 4, review, because repetition is the mother of all learning. If you're struggling with a particular word, grammar rule, or lesson, be sure to repeat and review it a few times. And then, come back a few days later and review it again. This same principle is used in our spaced repetition flashcards. The system quizzes you on words, then re-quizzes you in 3 days, then in 6 days, and so on. until the word gets embedded in your long-term memory. Some things you can do right now are download the lesson and lesson notes, save the words to your word bank, or even write down the words or grammar rules. Then come back to review them later. Number 5, reach out to our teachers and ask questions. If you're a Premium Plus member, you can easily get in touch with your teacher and get all of your points of confusion cleared up. Or you can always leave a comment on our lessons, and our teachers will get back to you. Remember, you're not alone. If you're struggling with a lesson, you can always get in touch with us. Number 6, take a break and go do something else. Another thing you can do is take a break and do something else that doesn't require much thinking. There's a reason our best ideas come while in the shower or while taking a walk. While you're on a break, your brain is more relaxed and starts making connections that you couldn't see when you were focused and stressed out. It's also why coming back to review things with a fresh mind can help you better understand the lessons you've taken. Number 7, downgrade your learning routine. If you're studying for 30 minutes a day and find yourself overwhelmed, or if you suddenly find yourself busy, the best thing to do is to reduce your study routine to something easier and more manageable. If you've been learning 30 minutes a day, drop down to 10 or 15 minutes. Even 5 minutes is good enough because language learning success comes with consistency. Quitting and coming back every 3 months won't work. This brings us to our next point. Number 8, remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Think about it. You can't cram for 5 hours and expect to remember everything you've studied. So just like with a marathon, it's okay to go slow and at your own pace, even if you're learning for just 5 minutes a day. Similarly, if you're having trouble understanding a grammar point or a lesson, don't let it bring you down. Learning a language is a marathon, a long-term game. The little points of confusion you have now are just small obstacles, and you'll fully understand them with time. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description.
Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between in and inne. Norwegian expresses the concepts of being at a place and moving to a place with different words, whereas English has just one word for expressing both. You may be familiar with her and hit, both meaning here, so we'll focus on different pairs of similar words. Let's have a look. In the two words in and inne, it's only an e that makes them different. You can tell them apart by remembering that e indicates location and no e expresses movement. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use in and inne correctly. Let's start with inne. Jeg inne, which means I'm inside. An example sentence using in would be jeg går inn, meaning I'm going in. There are other pairs of words in Norwegian that follow this same pattern. Let's take a look at some more. Hjemme and hjem both mean home. However, we use hjemme for the location of home and hjem for movement towards home. For example, han hjemme, meaning he's at home. Han dro hjem, which means he went home. Let's do one more example with ned and nede, which both mean down. Nede is used for the location of down, and ned is used for movement towards down. Jeg her nede means I'm down here, and vi går ned. We are going downstairs. That's it. I hope I answered your question. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det, vi ses snart. Bye, see you soon. Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, what are the main differences between på and I? På and I are two very common Norwegian prepositions. Although they are often used to describe places, they have other purposes too. Let's go over them together. I can be used like in English when we're talking about something or someone that's inside. På, on the other hand, can be translated as on, at, to, and also in. Let's do some examples together so you can learn how to use på and I correctly. Let's start with I. The sentence jeg I parken means I'm in the park. Here, you're inside the location. So we need to use I. Another example would be boka ligger I sekken. This means the book is in the bag. In this sentence, the book is inside another object, so we use I here as well. Next, let's go over på for each translation on, at, to, and in. The sentence boka på bordet means the book is on the table. Simple, right? Another sentence, jeg jobber på skolen, means I'm working at the school. Here we are talking about the location of the school, so we need på, at. For to, a sentence would be hun skal på hytta. She's going to the cabin, because she's moving towards that location. You don't think I forgot about in, do you? That's the tricky one. Since they both translate as in, it can be difficult to know when to use which. To summarize, you use I for where you would say in, and på for where you would say on or at in English. Here's an example to show how på and I can change the meaning of a simple sentence. Jeg jobber I skolen. This means I'm working in the school system. Jeg jobber på skolen, on the other hand, means I'm working at school. Okay, that's it for this lesson. I hope that cleared things up for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I use på and I for geographical locations? Norwegian has a lot of prepositions, and some of them are a little tricky to use, especially på and I when it comes to places. Let's go over the main rule for using på and I. You use på for islands or astronomical objects, like the moon or Mars. You use I for countries, bigger cities, and states. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use på and I correctly. Let's use the sentence Han på månen, meaning he's on the moon. Here we're talking about an astronomical object, so we use på. Another example would be, tror du det finnes liv på Mars? This means, do you think there's life on Mars? Now, let's do some examples with I. Consider, hun studerer I London, meaning she studies in London, and jeg bor I Norge, I live in Norway. In these sentences, the objects are either a big city or a country, so we need the preposition I. Here's a tricky one. Iceland is a country, but also an island. So how would you say I live in Iceland? We say jeg bor på Island, using på. But for the sentence I live in Australia, even though Australia is an island, we use I. Jeg bor I Australia. Unfortunately, there are no hard and fast rules for these situations, so you just have to memorize which countries that are also islands use på and which ones use I. And that's it! Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon! Hi everybody! Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between den and det? When you translate den or det into English, they both translate as it or that. So how do you know when to use which one? A simple way to remember how to use them is that you use den for masculine and feminine nouns and det for neuter nouns. Let's go over some examples so you can learn how to use den and det correctly. Let's say you're in a store and you want to ask how much a dress costs. In this case, you'll have to use den since dress, kjole, is a masculine noun. So, hva koster den means how much is it? So what if you want to point out that the dress is expensive? Instead of saying kjolen dyr, meaning the dress is expensive, you could use den dyr, meaning it is expensive. The same goes for jacket, jakke, which is a feminine noun. Here too, you would say hva koster den, meaning how much is it? If you want to say the jacket is cheap, jakken billig, you would say den billig, meaning it is cheap instead. However, if you want to know the price of a table, bord, you have to use det because bord is a neuter noun. Then you get hva koster det, which also means how much is it? So what if you think the table is a little bit too low? Instead of saying bordet litt lavt, meaning the table is a little bit low, you can say det litt lavt, meaning it is a little bit low. That's it for this lesson. I hope I answered your question. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do we use S-verbs in Norwegian? Verbs such as å møtes, meaning to meet, belong to a category of verbs known as S-verbs. Some people might wonder why we have an S at the end. Putting an S at the end of a verb gives the verb multiple definitions. These are reciprocal, passive, and non-passive. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use S-verbs like å møtes correctly. Let's start with a reciprocal definition. You have probably heard når skal vi møtes, meaning when are we going to meet? Å møtes literally means to meet each other. It is used when we have two or more people involved in the sentence. Here's another example. De møttes I parken, which means they met each other in the park. Since S-verbs involve two or more people, it is very common to use them when you're planning to meet friends. Let's do an example with a passive sentence. Boka skal leveres I morgen, meaning the book shall be delivered tomorrow. Since the original object, the book, has become the subject, you use an S-verb to make the sentence. S-verbs in passive sentences are mostly used when giving instructions or when the subject is unknown or unnecessary. Last, let's go over some non-passive S-verbs. These are used for feelings, emotions, and thoughts. For example, det føles rart å være hjemme igjen, which means it feels strange to be home again. Or, jeg helt sikker på at det finnes liv på andre planeter, meaning I'm sure that life on other planets exists. And that's it for this lesson. I hope it helped. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses senere! Bye! See you later! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, when do I use når and when do I use da? A lot of people think it's difficult to distinguish between når and da, even Norwegians themselves. Both are translated as when in English. Let's go over some examples so you can learn how to use når and da correctly. When you talk about something that is happening now or has happened several times, you use når. Here's an example. Når jeg ler, begynner jeg å hikke, meaning when I laugh, I start to hiccup. In this sentence, the speaker is talking about what happens every time he or she laughs, so we use når. When you talk about the past or something that happened once, you use da. For example, da vi dro, regnet det, meaning when we left, it rained. In this sentence, the speaker is talking about an event that happened in the past, so we need da. A good rule to remember, which Norwegians also use, is den gang da, hver gang når. This means we use da on a particular occasion and når on each occasion. And that's it. I hope that clears things up for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon!
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Alt I orden nå? Har du lyst på dessert?
Nei takk, bare regninga.
Vær så god. Kort eller kontant?
Vent litt. Det står her MVA 25%.
MVA moms, og satsen 25% på mat på restauranter.
Og du har tatt 20% I drikkepenger.
Beklager, det var en feil.
Jeg tror du har gjort så mange feil at du får ikke driks fra meg.
Blir det kort da?
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Dessert.
Dessert.
Regning.
Check.
Kort.
Card.
Kontant.
Cash.
MBA.
VAT.
Sats.
Rate.
Mat.
Food.
Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Drikkepenger.
Tips.
Driks.
Tip.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Alt I orden nå? Har du lyst på dessert?
Nei takk, bare regninga.
Vær så god. Kort eller kontant?
Vent litt. Det står her MVA 25%.
MVA moms, og satsen 25% på mat på restauranter.
Og du har tatt 20% I drikkepenger.
Beklager, det var en feil.
Jeg tror du har gjort så mange feil at du får ikke driks fra meg.
Blir det kort da?
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what kind of movies do you like? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about movies and ask other people about their favorite kinds of movies. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Movies and TV PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker skrekkfilmer.
Once more with the English translation.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
What kind of movies do you like?
Jeg liker skrekkfilmer.
I like horror movies. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what kind of movies do you like? That's,
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
listen to it again.
Hvilken type filmer liker du? Hvilken type filmer liker du?
This Norwegian sentence literally translates as, what kind of movies like you? But it means, What kind of movies do you like? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Jeg liker.
type of movie. I like type of movie. For example, I like horror movies.
Jeg liker skrekkfilmer. Jeg liker skrekkfilmer.
Here are a few more kinds of movies you can use with the same pattern to talk about movies. Horror movies.
Skrekkfilmer. Skrekkfilmer.
Comedy.
Komedier. Komedier.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Fantasy.
Romance.
Romantikk. Romantikk.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker komedie.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker fantasy.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker romantikk.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what kind of movies do you like?
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Imagine you like comedies. Do you remember how to say comedy?
Komedier. Komedier.
Say, I like comedies.
Jeg liker komedie.
Now answer the question saying that you like comedies.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker komedie.
Now imagine that you like fantasy movies. Do you remember how to say fantasy?
Fantasy. Fantasy.
Say, I like fantasy movies.
Jeg liker fantasy.
Now, answer the question saying you like fantasy movies.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker fantasy.
Now imagine you like romantic movies. Do you remember how to say romantic?
Romantikk. Romantikk.
Say, I like romantic movies.
Jeg liker romantikk.
Now answer the question saying you like romantic movies.
Hvilken type filmer liker du?
Jeg liker romantikk.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to talk about movies. You are now able to talk about types of movies like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell us what your favorite kind of movie is. Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Hvordan gikk det på prøve, Halvor?
Kjempedårlig. Jeg fikk en C.
La meg få se. Det kan ikke muligens være riktig.
En C er vel 50%?
Du fikk 6 spørsmål hvert 2 poeng riktig, og 3 spørsmål hvert 5 poeng. 6 ganger 2 er 12, og 3 ganger 5 er 15.
Ja, og 12 pluss 15 er 27.
Hele prøva er ut av 60, og 27 delt på 60 er 45%.
Hæ? 45?
Det ser ut som du har faktisk fått stryk.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Prøve.
Test.
Kjempedårlig.
Terrible.
Muligens.
Possibly.
Riktig.
Right.
Prosent.
Percent.
Poeng.
Point.
Pluss.
Plus.
Stryk.
F.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Hvordan gikk det på prøve, Halvor?
Kjempedårlig. Jeg fikk en C.
La meg få se. Det kan ikke muligens være riktig.
En C er vel 50%?
Du fikk 6 spørsmål hvert 2 poeng riktig, og 3 spørsmål hvert 5 poeng. 6 ganger 2 er 12, og 3 ganger 5 er 15.
Ja, og 12 pluss 15 er 27.
Hele prøva er ut av 60, og 27 delt på 60 er 45%.
Hæ? 45?
Det ser ut som du har faktisk fått stryk.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Så du håndballkampen i går, Linda? Vi vant!
Ja, for en spennende kamp. Så du det første målet?
Nei, jeg gikk glipp av de første 10 minuttene. Hvem skåret?
Gerhardsen skårte de første 3 måla.
Gerhardsen? Var ikke hun skadet?
Nei, du tenker på Severinsen. Hun har spilt ganske dårlig det siste uansett.
Hvem så du på kampen med?
Hvem? Ingen. Det var bare meg og Twitter.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Håndball.
Handball.
Å vinne.
To win.
Kamp.
Game. Match.
Spennende.
Interesting. Exciting.
Mål.
Goal.
Å score.
To score.
Å være skadet.
To be injured.
Å spille.
To play.
Ganske.
Pretty.
Ingen.
No one.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Så du håndballkampen I går, Linda? Vi vant!
Ja, for en spennende kamp. Så du det første målet?
Nei, jeg gikk glipp av de første 10 minuttene. Hvem skåret?
Gerhardsen skårte de første 3 målene.
Gerhardsen? Var ikke hun skadet?
Nei, du tenker på Severinsen. Hun har spilt ganske dårlig det siste uansett.
Hvem så du på kampen med?
Hvem? Ingen. Det var bare meg og Twitter.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Do you feel like you don't speak enough Norwegian? That you need to know more words? Then stick around. With these lessons, you'll pick up some of the most common words in just a few minutes. Now, this video is a small portion of our learning program. To get the full lessons, translations, and Fluency Fast study tools, click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what are you going to talk about? After watching this video, you'll be able to answer this question and introduce a topic to give a simple speech. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mine hobbyer.
Once more with the English translation.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
What are you going to talk about?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mine hobbyer.
I'm going to talk about my hobbies. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what are you going to talk about? That's,
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
listen to it again.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om? Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
This Norwegian sentence literally translates as, what have you thought to talk about? But it means, what are you going to talk about? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
Jeg kommer til å snakke om.
topic. This Norwegian sentence literally translates as, I come to talk about topic. But it means, I'm going to talk about topic. For example, I'm going to talk about my hobbies.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mine hobbyer. Jeg kommer til å snakke om mine hobbyer.
Here are a few more topics you can use with the same pattern. My hobbies.
Mine hobbyer. Mine hobbyer.
My hobbies.
Mine hobbyer.
My favorite food.
Min favorittmat. Min favorittmat.
My favorite food.
Min favorittmat.
My favorite place.
Mitt favorittsted. Mitt favorittsted.
My favorite place.
Mitt favorittsted.
My favorite book.
Min favorittbok. Min favorittbok.
My favorite book.
Min favorittbok.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittmat.
What are you going to talk about?
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
I'm going to talk about my favorite food.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittmat.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mitt favorittsted.
What are you going to talk about?
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
I'm going to talk about my favorite place.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mitt favorittsted.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittbok.
What are you going to talk about?
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
I'm going to talk about my favorite book.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittbok.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what are you going to talk about?
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Imagine you're going to talk about your favorite food. Do you remember how to say, my favorite food?
Min favorittmat. Min favorittmat.
Say, I'm going to talk about my favorite food.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittmat.
Now, answer the question saying you're going to talk about your favorite food.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittmat.
Now, imagine you're going to talk about your favorite place. Do you remember how to say, my favorite place?
Mitt favorittsted. Mitt favorittsted.
Say, I'm going to talk about my favorite place.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mitt favorittsted.
Now, answer the question saying you're going to talk about your favorite place.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om mitt favorittsted.
Now, imagine you're going to talk about your favorite book. Do you remember how to say, my favorite book?
Min favorittbok. Min favorittbok.
Say, I'm going to talk about my favorite book.
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittbok.
Now, answer the question saying you're going to talk about your favorite book.
Hva har du tenkt å snakke om?
Jeg kommer til å snakke om min favorittbok.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to give a simple speech. You're now able to introduce a topic like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell me and your fellow learners what you are going to talk about in your next speech. Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye! Remember, here's what you can do to learn all of these words by heart. Drill these words with our spaced repetition flashcards, which will help cement these words into your long-term memory. Save them to the word bank, your personal vocabulary collection, where you can print out your own study sheets, or review the words with our looped vocabulary slideshow and play it until you know all of the words. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to get these lessons and study tools. Okay, today's topic is 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. You're going to learn 1. The mistake people make with motivation, 2. The 4 rules for motivation, and 3. How you can apply the 4 rules to your language learning. Do you wish you were more motivated about language learning? You watch motivational videos, you feel good for a second, but none of it sticks. This lesson may have some tips to help you. First, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the 24-hour survival phrases cheat sheet. Traveling and want to learn a bit of the language? Then these survival phrases will help you with the first 24 hours. Second, the ultimate listening video master course. How good are your listening skills? Watch this free video master course to more easily understand native speakers. You can download it right now. Third, the 50 most common verbs all beginners must know. Do you know all of these verbs? If not, this lesson will drill the 50 most common verbs into your head. Just use the free audio slideshow tool inside. And fourth, 20 strategies for learning a language at home. Want to learn a language from the comfort of your own home? This 1-minute lesson gives you all the best tactics for learning languages. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. Want to know how to really stay motivated? Then listen closely to these 4 rules. These rules might be a little different from the advice that you often hear. Ready? Rule number 1, action comes first. Are you the type of person who prefers to make things happen? Or are you the type that waits for things to happen to you? One of the best ways to stay motivated with language learning is to not think about motivation. Instead, take action and start learning. The mistake that most people make is that they have this backwards. They think they should wait to feel motivated first and then start learning. But really, it's the other way around. First, you do a language lesson. You learn a basic conversation. Then you do another. And then you start feeling like you can do more and learn more. You see results. So results bring motivation. Thinking about motivation does not bring motivation. Thinking about motivation is like reading an article about how to go outside for a run instead of actually going outside for a run. So action comes first. Rule number 2, always have an outside influence. It's very easy to lose motivation if you're learning language alone. So what do? Here are some examples. You get a study buddy. You hire a tutor. You join a meetup group. You plan a trip to a country where people speak that language. Or you sign up for a proficiency test, like many language learners do. Why do this? Because now you have other people depending on you. You have outside factors that keep you going with the language. For example, if you signed up for a language proficiency test, you know you have a few months to study and you have to take the test on a certain date. Someone is going to pass or fail you. This is a lot more motivating than learning alone. If you're learning with our program, you can get your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll hold you accountable, send you homework, and give you feedback. If you have a study buddy, well, now you have someone that expects you to show up and improve. And if they're better than you, that should give you extra motivation because you want to be at their level. So get some outside influence. The next rule is rule number 3. Always have a go-to study method. When you arrive at work or the gym, or when you start your homework, you always have that one thing you do first, right? What do? For example, with work, maybe the very first thing you do is check emails. Then you check your tasks for the week. After that, you get started. Well, you need to make the same kind of habits with language learning. You need a go-to study method that you're comfortable with, an easy starting point. And this totally depends on you and your style. Choose something you enjoy. Some people listen to audio lessons. Some people like flashcards. For some people, writing is easy. You can write out song lyrics and translate them. It's up to you. The point is, you should give yourself an easy first step to get you started and get into the flow of learning. If you're learning with our program, you can start with the Word of the Day email or do a quick 3-minute audio lesson. You can copy out the lesson dialogue, read through the lesson notes, or even easier, just review and re-listen to a lesson you took the day before. If you have your own go-to study method, you're already miles ahead of most learners. Leave a comment and tell us about it. And finally, rule number 4, always be working on something. So here, I want you to stop and think about your friends. Do you have a friend that's always up to something, some project? They're working on a song, or they're making videos. They finish one thing and they start another. Well, if you wonder how they stay motivated, it's because they're always working on something. And this goes back to taking action. If you're not learning or working, you can't stay motivated. So you need to apply this to language learning. How? For example, like I mentioned in part 2 about outside influence, you can make a plan to travel to a country that speaks your target language. Or you can sign up for a language proficiency test. If you do that, you'll have something to look forward to, something to do. If you're traveling, you need to learn travel phrases. If you have a proficiency test coming up, you have to study grammar and do exercises. What else can you do? If you already have a textbook or workbook, make it a goal to finish that book. If you have a learning program, make it a goal to finish it or reach a certain level. If you're using our lessons, make it a goal to finish one learning pathway. Then, when you're done, give yourself something else to do, something to stick with, something to look forward to. So, let's recap. 1. Action comes first. 2. Always have an outside influence. 3. Always have a go-to study method. And 4. Always be working on something. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to get a return on your language learning investment. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Norwegian ebook before it's gone.